right, Brampton, you have probably been waiting to hear, have things gotten any better in the month of March? Please don't. Detached homes saw a 7.3% decrease in the median price. The market is definitely something that a lot of people are paying attention to right now. There's definitely some positives, but there's also some negatives. So we're going to get into the video here, and on the screen, I'm going to show you what the different housing categories look like. And remember, everybody's situation is a little bit different depending on the type of property that you own. You might have different opportunity in the market, and you might have less concern or more concern if you're trying to sell a property coming up in the next little while here. So last month, your median detached price was $1,160,000. This month of March, we're down to $1,075,000. So that's actually a 7.3% reduction. And then if we're looking last year, we were also at $1,160,000. So we're down from last year. It's not looking fantastic. But what I do have to say is this is on a lower transaction volume. So we don't know if we had the same transactions last year that we did in this past month that just happened, maybe that price would be slightly higher, or maybe it would be lower. So we had 131 transactions both last month and this month. Great sample size when we're looking at both. But last year we had 266. So we had more than double the transactions, and we had a 1.160 median home sale price for the detached category. Inventory, we actually had 744 new listings hit the market. Last month we had 542. We saw a lot of terminations, 336 terminations. Last month we had 219, and then last year we only had 196 in the same month. So terminations are something that we're seeing taken off the market. Maybe the price was a little too high, and instead of doing a price change or a price adjustment, we're seeing taken off the market, terminated, and then put back on as a new listing. So a portion of the actual inventory that we're seeing here in new listings might also be a termination. Keep that in mind. Last year, it was taking about 10 days to sell your average detached home in Brampton. Now we're seeing 15 days, so an additional 5 days on market, which this is a median, right? So this can also be 30, 60, 90 days, depending on how that property is taken care of, how it's advertised, and how it's priced. Something you want to keep in mind here is your below list is 73% of detached homes in Brampton are selling below list. Last year, it was only 56%. So that's a big change. There's still 24% that are going above list. Last year, we had 40% going above list. And these ones that are going above list likely have something like a basement apartment, or they have some kind of unique feature, and they're being priced super low. So it might be a $1 million detached home being priced at $799, and it's selling above list. But we don't even know if it hits that $1 million average or median price of the home. That's the tricky thing. Above asking price doesn't necessarily mean that the home even sold for the correct value. It's a strategy to sell your home quicker, yes, but maybe the seller decides they don't want to relist it and they take the best offer they have, which might not be what they were actually hoping for at the end of the day. So now let's hop into the semi-detached category. Let's see how they fared. Last month, your median price was at $902. We saw a slight decrease here, $897. We did have an additional 15 transactions happen, but once again, last year, $955. So we're down over $55,000 in the semi-detached from last year. New listings hitting the market very much on par with last year. Actually, more listings this year than last year, more than last month as well. So a 30% increase in, which is like 43 new listings. Your below list price is increased from 35% last year to 53%. So once again, expecting to go over asking is not something that's a guarantee in this market. So if you're selling, understand the chances that you're going to go over asking, especially if you just price it for market value, is extremely low. You're seeing more homes than not selling under or at asking price. Days on market, we have a big increase. We had 10 days on market last year. Now we're at 22 for a semi-detached. We've even increased 3 days in terms of last month to this month. So something to really look at, just the time it's going to take to sell your home. Let's go. Freehold townhomes. Let's see where they're at. Last year, $900,000. Now we are at $845,000. So we've seen a $55,000 decrease. You're going to see this trend. It's going to keep happening because the market is on the down. It's not on the up at the moment. Month over month, we are slightly up, but year over year, we are definitely down. Transactions, 57. Last year, we had 76 transactions and a higher median price. That says a lot. New listings, 196. 160 last month, 158 last year. So you're in that same ballpark, give or take 40 to 50 listings. Days on market, big increase again, 22 days from the 10. We're calling that 131.6% increase. That is a pretty sizable increase. And then below list, 63%. Last month, 79% actually sold below list. That's a massive number. And you're going to see above list, there is still some, 30% of them are going above list. Those are the ones that are priced for those bidding wars, of course. Freehold townhouses is one thing. Let's look at the condo townhouses and see how they're faring as well. Last year, 710K. We are at 654. So we're down once again, $50,000+ here. Low transactions, so we had only 18 transactions happen. Last month we had 24. Last year, 35. So very low transaction volume. 108 listings, 98 last month, 94 in the same month last year. So right on par. None of that is too shocking. Your below list price is, of course, up again. This is very, very common. Same with your above list price. These numbers are pretty stable across the board. Your days on market has moved actually down from 18 last year to 16, but you have to keep in mind we have almost twice as many transactions as well. So when you have twice as many transactions, a lot of this data ends up getting a little skewed, but transactions is something we can't actually control when we're looking at the data here. Now, the all-important category, we talk about it a lot. Let's look at the condos. Let's see. Last year, same month, condos were at 545. We are now seeing condos down to 476. So this is a median condo. Of course, this is across your 1, your 2, your 3, whatever bedroom condo. So we're down more than $50,000. Your transactions, we are chopping them off at the legs. Only 18 transactions. Last month, only 14. 35 same time last year, which was also a very low month of transactions as well. New listing volume, rather, 122, 90 last month, 112 last year. That's all very similar. Your days on market is 30 days median. That is quite a bit from last year being 18 days on market. Similar numbers for below and above your list price. But what I want to show you all is how things have really changed in this market. You can see in the course of a year and 12 months, we've seen things fall back quite a bit. And the question we keep coming back to is, are we going to still see things slip moving forward? And we have a lot of different things that are happening in Ontario and in Canada. We've got the tariff situation. We've got an election coming up at the end of the month. And don't forget to vote. Whoever you vote for, make sure you put your vote out there. Maybe your biggest cause is housing. So figure out who has the housing plan that hopefully they follow, because they say a lot of things and don't actually follow through. But see what housing plan you actually like best if that is your major issue. And some of these things can affect what we're seeing in the statistics, and I wouldn't be shocked if they do to a certain extent. But the reality is our market is really trying to figure out where that baseline is. Do I think there's still a little bit of room for things to drop? Absolutely. But what happens as prices keep dropping? Maybe you own a condo and you're not super excited that you got to sell it for 400 grand and maybe you paid 450. That detached home that was $1 million is actually dropped the same percentage possibly, but you've actually made up ground on moving from a condo to a detached home. So keep in mind, even though the market is definitely on the downswing, there's opportunity for you to make your moves. And we'll say it time and time again, the market is going to work for different people at different times. You have to figure out if it's the time for you. Of course, you can always reach out to me, numbers on screen, or you can book a call in the description box down below or the pinned comment. I'll leave it everywhere for you guys so you can contact me if you have any questions about the real estate market. But I'm going to ask you a simple question in the comment section down below. Do you think it's a good time to buy a condo? That's what I'm going to leave you guys with. If you are a first-time home buyer, would you be buying a condo in today's market? Or do you think you're trying to catch a falling knife and you got a long way to drop from here? I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.